Hello everybody, and it's been a long time, so I'm glad to be back and to put this video here. The last time I tried to attempt to do it, something went wrong with the file formats. However, I don't mind redoing it, but it's story time, and I'm in a shady place, and it's a good day outside, guys. Anyway, I've been away from YouTube. A lot of you guys remember me from my guitar videos, and there's still some floating on the web somewhere, maybe on Facebook, I don't know. Will they be coming back to YouTube? The answer is probably in the future. As I've seen the music industry for that grow, well, I'll come back to that later, but anyway, there's enough of it on YouTube. But I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about my life story so far. I'm only 28 years old, and what's kept me away from YouTube? Why I have not been on YouTube at all. Simply the fact that I would come on here when I was younger, and I would do like gun reviews and guitar reviews and videos. I moved to a tiny town in the middle of Barrow County, and I got into an apartment, and I was on Social Security disability at the time for anxiety, and I had a lot of issues going on at that time, and a lot of breakdowns at that time. And anyway, I lived in an apartment, and I tried to bridge the gap between a relationship I had with my dad. And the thing about it was that we really couldn't click. Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. And that to me, that's just life. I had to learn. I went crazy, wild, and ended up going to college a little bit and pursuing my dream, and I fell into alcoholism, and that was the biggest thing. And it wasn't until I was convicted of a DUI charge that I realized that I needed to stop my problem. Although it continued profusely, and I've told people the story numerous times, and it's just, like I have to find a different way to say it. So boring to say again. I changed my whole view on things after becoming homeless, because I was on disability, and at the time I was sent for a review, and then somehow let's put it this way, I was stranded in the middle of nowhere. I didn't have enough evidence to present my case in front of the disability board, because I could not get to my doctor. And come to find out, they had closed out my case, all that stuff. So I ended up trying to work again. It didn't work out. I kept on trying numerous companies and times. It didn't work out. It seemed like every turn I would make, something would just screw up completely. Okay, so I ended up being homeless in the middle of Athens, Georgia. And I went to a shelter, and I stayed there for a little while, and I began to get sober. A lot of people just quit alcohol. They forget to tell people the story of like how I got sober. They just say, okay, I got sober. They don't tell them the withdrawal. They don't tell them this is what happened. Okay, I discovered that I could not drink being there. However, everybody who was there did drink because they were homeless. They were having a hard time. So the rule was that unless you came in completely tore up, you could still stay there. So I would go in the morning times and drink a 6-pack at the local bar, or buy cheap Blue Ribbon beer and drink. And then I found myself volunteering for the shelter, which gave me something to do, and I cut down on drinking. And I began to talk to people. I opened up, and today it's been probably 90 or 100 days since I've drank anything and messed up. Not saying I'm, I don't consider it a mess up. I don't count it like that. But every day after work, I would drink like a scotch, and I quit doing that because I didn't like it. So what I did was I just completely stopped altogether, and every now and then I would grab like one 16-ounce Bud Light and drink. So it's been 90 days from any kind of alcohol deal. So I figured I'd make a video. I've been sober longer than that for periods of time, but it took a lot for me to lose everything to, except for my life, to realize that life was still worth living. And that's why I haven't been on YouTube. I thought about putting documentaries and things on there while I was drinking, but I didn't, because of the simple fact that I was, drinking. So I put a stop to that, and I enjoy life, the beautiful things in life, the simple things. Money's great. That's another topic. Power, liberation, it's all a different topic. But it's part of the reason why it ruined a lot of relationships, and I know there are still people talking now. I can almost hear them talking, saying, you know what, he's still an alcoholic. Well, some things never change, and I can actually say that now. People can change, because I did. I gradually just went down to drinking nothing. I would go every other day or every other week, then every other month, and then finally I was like, forget it. I drink the hell out of some ice water though, buddy. Probably right over 2 gallons a day, especially the summertime. And I gotta say, I'm a happy person, even though all of the failures in my life have I don't like those failures. They're not really failures. They're just they're lessons. All the lessons of my life that I thought were failures turned out to be, I guess you could call it blessing in disguise. And I hope that's not snakeskin. But I'm still working on perfecting a few things. I have a nicotine problem with dip, and a couple of medical problems, and I try not to worry about them. But other than that, life seems to be, pretty good. God is good. So it ruined my relationship between, I guess you would say, me and my dad, alcohol, and people, more or less the people. When you have alcohol, you are kind of like a plaintiff on the stand who has no voice. You cannot speak, but everyone else can actually come in and speak and say whatever they like. And no matter what you try to say, it's like your voice isn't heard, because you're always in the wrong. So I know a lot of rumors went around, and a lot of things went bad. I ended up getting a job at a bar as a bouncer, and I had to work around alcohol every day. And I had numerous jobs. I actually sent my dad a Happy Father's Day video from my job, which was in a bar, and I felt like, after I looked at it, I said, oh shit, this guy's gonna think I'm still on the bottle. And then I was like, okay, I really don't care what he thinks. Assumptions are assumptions. There's a reason people make assumptions. They make asses of themselves. So anyway, alcohol's the reason I hadn't been on YouTube, and I hate looking at the camera view. That's why I'm steering away, overanalyzing myself. I get that from somebody. Anyway, I still do play the guitar. I'm actually a lot better at it than I was. After I focused my energy, I channeled my energy. There's a such thing as energy, like electricity. You can call it channeling, but not like, evil channeling. I don't give a damn. I don't know why people call it that. But anyway, I put more of my time into investing it into better things, like hobbies instead of drinking. And I looked at a lot of my inspirations, their stories of drinking. And I got a lot of help from doing that. And I stayed clear of groups, because groups only led me to drink more, because I felt outside of the group when I was in the group, So anyways, that's why I hadn't been on the YouTube. But I do love the Cobra Kai series. I've been keeping up with that. That's really cool. To show Johnny's lifestyle, the bad guy of the Karate Kid. And growing up, I took hefty martial arts, and now I've kind of re-engaged. I'm kind of back into martial arts, something similar. So will I be putting more videos on the YouTube? Yeah, probably. That's just one of the things that you guys are gonna have to look forward to. And I figured, I know I didn't have to put an explanation as to why, but people go through things in everyday life, and it's just life. People go through addictions, they go through depression, stress, discouragement, and a lot of different things that some people aren't open. I'm open about it. I talk to a lot of I try to talk to a lot of youth and a lot of older people who have been there before and relate my story, and I listen to their stories. So I will be posting videos on YouTube. So I am back, and the guitar videos are going to be a lot better than I say that they are. So I've been kind of practicing my really good, and things have been going really well. Got my full hand working. I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to complain about my pinky all the time, and finally one morning I woke up and I just said, F it, man. I'm gonna make this thing work. So anyways, guys, that's the explanation. Every day trying to perfect the self, do something different every day. Every day there is something different. Let's say your wife buys you Maxwell House coffee and you're used to Folgers, and you're throwing that curveball in the morning. You don't expect something. Something's always tipping you in the day. Something's different in that morning. And that's the adaptation of the changes is what's very important. So before I get all philosophical and shit, that's why I had been on YouTube, and been too busy looking for another summer job. So peace, guys. I love you all, for the people who did support me, and I will look forward to your response and your feedback on my next videos. So peace out.